What's up YouTube, Jay Traveling here. Today I'm going to talk about, not so much about the new RTX cards coming out, but what I think it's going to do for the used graphics card market as far as gaming PCs and crypto mining rigs. So everyone knows the 3090, 3080, and even the 3070 are scheduled to come out starting September 17th. I believe the 3080 comes out and then followed by the 3090, and then in October the 3070. Now specs show true about the 3070 of what NVIDIA is claiming being pretty much 1080 Ti performance out of their 3070. They're claiming that it's slightly better than 2080 Ti performance. If that is true at a $499 price point, that is going to be a huge thing for gaming PCs. You're going to be able to build a brand new gaming PC that would have normally cost you about $2,000 and then cut that price down to almost $1,000 and have that kind of performance and running huge high refresh rates at 1440p. And even some good frame rates at 4K out of a $500 graphics card. But the price points of that seem awesome, but what will that do to the used market? So builders such as myself who rely on used graphics cards to build budget gaming PCs, to get people that aren't as fortunate to have higher budgets into the gaming world as far as PCs and getting off a console, we really rely on that used graphics card market, and the price is set point. Right now, the market was pretty high until this release. Until NVIDIA put that release out, it was pretty high. You know, a GTX 3GB 1060 was selling for almost $150 on eBay, which was $50 to $75 more than what it was selling for a year ago. If anyone knows the GTX 1060 and follows this channel, it's one of my favorite cards to go to, even though I don't get my hands on them, on too much of them right now. I do have two of them sitting right here. I have two GTX 1060 sitting there ready to go in the builds, and a GTX 970. Both 970 is arguably a 3.5 gigabyte card, even though it's advertised as a 4 gigabyte card. And then these are 3 gigabyte model 1060s. Great gaming cards for 1080p. They really can't push 1440p due to their VRAM, but great cards for that. The other thing is the AMD cards. You have your 5700s and 5700 XTs, which are great cards. But with NVIDIA coming out with this, with their new RTX cards, the 3000 series, I'm speculating. All this is just speculations. What I think is going to happen. I think the GPU market is going to go down. People are going to start selling and panic selling even their 20 series cards or their 2000 series cards. I've already seen some 2070s as low as $250 in the local marketplace. I haven't picked any of them up because $250 it's still a little high for that card, I think, in this type of like climate or whatever you want to call it in the used market. A 2070 though for $250, even though personally I'm not buying it because when I do build the PC I need to turn a profit. You can still do that paying $250. I think a year ago I was paying about $300 for a 2070, and then the 2070 Super came out, so you're looking at like $300, and then now with the short supply, the graphics card prices have just gone up and up and up, and the 2070s were even selling for $400 plus. Even though in my opinion, they're not even worth that much with the 2070 Super. You can just go to the store if you live near a Micro Center and buy one for not too much more. Or even look at Micro Center for open boxes and get yourself a 2070 like I did for this PC. When I sold my 2070 Super out of it, I picked up this 2070 for about $350 as an open box plus tax because I'm in Pennsylvania. So it came out just under $400, and I had a 2070 brand new from manufacturer warranty. It was an open box item. So some might argue that it's not brand new, that it's still technically used, but I still got the full manufacturer warranty, and I also have a proof that I bought the card myself. But if you're using sites such as Facebook Marketplace and eBay, you're looking at the prices, and personally I think right now is not the time to buy a graphics card used or new. You have to wait until at least the cards come out, at least the 3080 on the 17th to come out, and you're going to see a huge drop in cards, because right now I even seen a few that they put their 2070 for sale for $250, but they put stipulations in the ad saying only if I can get my hands on a 3080. So when the 3080s finally come out and people start getting their hands on them, you're going to see the market just get flooded with old graphics cards. And when I say old, I mean, you know, used ones. Not so much, I'm not talking like 960s like I have in my girlfriend's PC, which is still a nice, really nice graphics card if you want to do some light moderate gaming at 1080p. But I'm talking about like, you know, your 2070s and 2080s coming out in the market because everyone's getting the 3080. So once that happens, for the used gaming PC market, I'm going to see a huge. I'm thinking we're going to see a huge decline in the graphics card prices in the used market. It's going to get flooded. People are going to be trying to sell them because they want the money because they just went out and spent, you know, anywhere between $500 to $800 on a new graphics card, or even up to $1,500 if they get the 3090. So they're going to be looking to sell their graphics card and get a quick sale just to get that cash back in their pocket. So I'm thinking you might even be able to find some 2070s for as low as 200. Which if you look at the used market right now, a 1070 is trying to sell for 200 right now, and then your 1080s, people are still trying to get 300 for them. So as far as the 10 series cards, such as the 1070s and 1080s, which are still awesome graphics cards, even at 1440p, a 1070 can still hold its own. You're not going to be hitting a solid 144 hertz on your monitor, but you'll still hit like 140 frames per second consistent if you tweak the graphics settings. They're not going to be all maxed out. A 1080, on the other hand, you can probably still run pretty high settings at 1440p and still hit 140 frames a second. The 1080 and 2070 are pretty much on par, and I use a 2070. When I play Call of Duty, I do turn a few of the settings down just to hold it consistent 150, 160 frames a second. But it's definitely possible and it's definitely doable. But in the used market, once these cards drop and people are seeing with their 1080s and 1080 Ti's that it's worth to buy the 3080 or the 3070, whichever they want, I think more people are going to wait for the 3070 to come out just because of the price point and because you're going to get that 2080 Ti performance that they're claiming. Even if it falls a little bit short of a 2080 Ti, you're still getting a huge, great price of performance right there. So people are going to be waiting for that 3070, and then they're going to be buying them up. So one, the supply for the new graphics cards probably isn't going to be able to meet the demand. I'm personally going to go try and get my hands on at least one for this PC. I want to try and get probably a 3080. My friend's trying to talk me into a 3090, but I'm probably just going to do a 3080 because I don't get as much time in the game as I used to, so I can't justify a 3090. But if I do get my hands on the 3090, and that's the only option I have, I will buy it. But I plan on upgrading this. I want to see a few videos of, you know, other YouTubers out there and stuff with hands-on experience with it, and so I don't have to just sort of rely on what NVIDIA is saying. Not that I think they're lying to us, but I like to see real-life performance and people gaming with it. But once people buy these 3070s, I think you're going to see a huge decline. People really pushing their graphics cards out there, and that's when you're going to get the real deals, I think. When the 3080 and 3090 come out in September, people are going to be buying them, but they're going to be selling, I think it's a more higher end card. You're going to be looking at your 2080 Ti's, your 2080 Supers coming onto the market, and your 2080s, possibly a few 1080 Ti's, because the 10 series people that still have their 1080 Ti's and 1080s that didn't jump onto the RTX right away, now we're seeing that RTX is worth a game. More games are starting to support it, so people are going to be buying their 3080s probably. I think that's going to be their biggest selling cards, the 3080. People will be buying that and then unloading their 1080 Ti's and their 1080s. So right now in the market, I see 1080 Ti's for about 400. If you ever go on EVGA's Midweek Madness, you can usually score them for $399 on there. On eBay, you're looking at them about 450 to 500 range in the current market. But I think we're going to see 1080 Ti's drop even below $300 per card. So as far as a gaming PC standpoint, you're getting 11 gigabytes of VRAM plus a great graphics card for under $300. This is all speculation too. I don't know about these prices. This is really going to happen, but I like to think about it and then what I can possibly build next month as far as a budget gaming PC. If I can get 1080 Ti's for about $250 on eBay, which I think it's going to go really low and then kind of even out. When the cards come out, people are going to buy them up and they're going to be dropping their cards off real cheap. So you're going to see a decline in price. But as people get the cards and people are coming, you're going to see the prices slowly come back up and then settle back out. So I think that 1080 Ti will probably settle out about $300, $325 used in the market, which is probably what you'll see a 980 Ti right about now. The 1080s you'll probably be seeing, drop down in price. If you get lucky, probably score them for 200 during this decline. It'll come back up. It'll probably be about the 250 price point, which if you're lucky, you can find one for that right now. I think when I had my 1080 Strix in here about 7 months ago, I picked it up for $275 on Facebook Marketplace, but I ended up selling it on eBay for over $400. So those Strix cards seem to sell really high. They're really nice graphics cards. I know this one's not an Asus Strix, it's just a their basic card, but it's still a really nice 2070. So with the gaming PC market, the used gaming PC market, you'll be able to build pretty higher end PCs for a lot cheaper. So if I had to ballpark it, I would think if the 1080 Ti sells for the price points I think it's going to sell at, you can probably pick up an 8700K on a motherboard with RAM for about $350 on eBay. You can score one of these. This Leon Lee case was like $150, and the other case behind that I have the built-in was about $53. You can score a 500 watt power supply for $45, so you're about $100 for a case and power supply. Was a 350, so that's $450. So for about $700 to $800, you can have an 8700K with a 1080 Ti used just through buying stuff on eBay and a few parts on Amazon. So if you could tell me $700 I can have that high performance of a gaming PC and be shredding games at 1440p, I mean, that to me, that's a very good value. So we'll have to see where the prices land, but this is all speculation and kind of what I think the market's going to do. So for PC gaming, your budget computers are going to get really low. So that's higher end. So let's look at your 1050 Ti, which is probably selling for about $100 right now, and then your 1060, which is, you can find a 6 gigabyte model, which they're all over the place on eBay. They're looking at about $140 to $150 right now. So I can see the 1060s dropping below 100. Last year I was able to find a few 3 gigabyte cards for about $75. I did score one 6 gigabyte card for like $90 once. That was very rare, and the guy really needed to get rid of it, which was good. And for me, good for me, not for him. But that's probably going to be the normal, I think, for the 1060s. They're going to be, a lot more of them are going to come onto the market, and then they're going to be dropping in price so that a budget gamer, someone on a really tight budget, can still get a 1080p gaming machine with a GTX 1060 and still run higher refresh rates and higher frame rates at a very low cost. So if the 1060 goes below 100, you can probably even score like a 4690K build for like $150, $200 for motherboard, processor, RAM, and cooler. So it's a little bit older, but if you get it on a Z motherboard, you can probably overclock it a little. So let's not even talk about the overclocking aspect, because most people that are doing budget builds, it's usually their first build, they're not really into the overclocking, but you can even use the BIOS to self-overclock on most of them boards, and it'll give you a little bit more juice for it. But a 4690K, which is your i5 4th gen, still a really nice CPU. I actually have one behind me on a motherboard ready to get built. I just need to buy a CPU cooler. But you can get that and then find a 1060, which it shouldn't bottleneck it at all, and you can be running games. You're looking at like a $400 gaming PC right now for 1080p gaming and running 140 frames a second. I mean, that's speculations. It's all going to depend on the overclocks, what GTX 1060 you get, and what graphics settings you're running. If you're trying to just max everything out so everything is just like perfect looking, you're probably going to be looking at like 80, 90 frames a second with a 1060. But that's still pretty good if you're running a 75 hertz monitor, budget gaming monitor, which you might be since you're building a budget PC. It's still a really nice PC setup for relatively cheap. I built 1060 PCs for about $450 in the current market, so it's definitely doable once these cards drop. So gaming PC, but what does this mean for crypto miners? So crypto miners, I don't see many people running RTX cards. As far as crypto mining, RTX has nothing to do with the mining and the algorithms. So most people have been sticking with the 10 series cards. So if we see a big drop in that, anyone that's mined or knows anything about mining, the GTX 1070 is a very good graphics card to mine with. I have the P104s on my mining shelf on one of them, an 8-card rig, and those things are just mining like a champ. So if we can see 1070s drop in price just a little bit, you're getting them for about $150, even as low as if you can find someone really selling some for $100, or like anywhere between $100 and $150, you can build a nice, stable, very good mining rig for very cheap. A 6-card rig, if you're getting them for $160, it's you're looking under $1,000 to have that rig build, a 6-card rig, after you get the motherboard, a little bit of RAM, Depending on what you're running, if you're Windows, want to run Windows miner, I recommend an SSD. 120 gig SSD is like $20 at Micro Center or $20 on Amazon. Or if you're running like a Hive OS or Simple Mining, just use or like Sash OS, any Linux-based operating system, you could use a flash drive. They're like $8 at Best Buy for like a 3.0 USB one. You can run that for $100,000, build out a nice rig that's going to be very profitable, even when the crypto market was a little lower and Ethereum was below 200. My 1070 or P104 rig was still a little profitable. So even when it was lower, right now it's just very profitable since it's been going up. And the market in the cryptocurrency has been fluctuating a lot. Ethereum was just over, it's about $430 a coin. Now it's back down. That last I checked, a little under 400 in like the 380s. But it's been fluctuating. But with the 3080, the 3090, and 3070 card coming out, now you're going to see, like I said, it's same with the gaming PC aspect. Your 10 series cards are going to be more of them on the market, flooding it, cheaper prices, and people buying up these 3070s and 3080s. 3090s, people are going to buy them. I do have friends that want to get them, but I think the price tag on it is going to shy people away. So they're going to be doing the 3080s and 3070s, just like you see the 2070s and 2080s and the Supercell. But if we see the price drops that I'm speculating that I think we're going to see, then I may even look at getting a couple of 1080s, maybe 4 to 6 of them to build out another rig. But I already have a motherboard, RAM, CPU, and cooler on it. I have the risers. I just need to get a frame and graphics cards. I have the power supplies already. I have a couple EVGA 1000 watts laying around for my next build. So I may look at even some 1080s that try and put on that rig. So if I can get 1080s for about the $200 price mark, I'll probably start with 4 and then expand it up to 6 as it mines and I get it tweaked in and dialed in. But I'll probably look to build some gaming PCs for cheap and sell them to try and, fund another crypto mining rig, because that's also another stream of revenue for me. I work a full-time job, I crypto mine. I'm running this YouTube channel, not that it's profitable at all, but, and then I have my stock portfolio. So right now I have 3 sources of income, trying to make it a 4th. But crypto mining has been very good for me. Even though I keep the coins, I haven't really sold any of them. I actually haven't sold any of them at all. I just exchange them for other crypto. But then I keep them in my wallet, and then once I see a spike, I'll end up selling them off. But the GPU market will see a huge decline. But what about the demand of the 3070 and 3080? Demand's going to be like really high, and your supply is going to be here. So what I see happening there is people will be buying the 3070s and 3080s, and you're going to immediately see them popping up on eBay at a very high price tag. So the people that live closer to a Micro Center, they'll probably be able to get their hands on the launch day. They're going to be buying 3080s, and be buying 3070s. 3070s it might not happen as much with, because it comes out in October, so they may be able to catch up with the demand at that point. I doubt it, but it's possible. But the 3080, when it comes out on the 17th, you're going to see people buying them at their $500 ticket price, paying a little bit of tax, but I can see them getting posted on eBay for double that. You're looking at a $1,000 price tag for the people that live in the middle of nowhere that can't really get it, and they're selling out so quick on Newegg and Amazon that people that are getting their hands on them will post them right on eBay at a $1,000 price tag, and you're going to see people that just want it right then and there and paying $1,000 for their 3080. So even though NVIDIA is putting that $499 price tag on the 3070, I think it's a $699 price tag on the 3080. You're going to see someone paying $700 for their 3080. After tax and PA, you're looking at like close to $750. But then posting it on eBay for $1,100-$1,200, which is what your typical 2080 Ti would be selling for right now. So you're looking at eBay with a $1,200 price tag, $1,100 price tag. This is speculation. I really don't know. This is just what I think is going to happen. You're going to see that huge demand for that 3080 is going to be there. People are going to want it. They're going to want that performance. They're going to want that double the 2080 super performance at not double the price. So people will be buying this 3080, selling it on eBay for $1,100 to $1,200. if I do see it happen, I have my hands on it, I'll jump on that bandwagon too. I'll take the profits, just go buy another one. Or even if I have to wait a couple months for them to come back in stock, I mean, to me, that would be worth it. You essentially got yourself a free graphics card. But you'll see that spike of people selling it. So that could hurt the used market for a little bit, as far as you have your 3080, but people can't even get their hands on it because they can't stay on the shelf that are selling it for $1,200. So now your 2080 Ti just went back up in price a little bit. So then you're looking at a 2080 Ti again that I've even seen them panic selling right now at $650 to $700, like locally, not on eBay. But people are like, oh, the 3080 is faster than this, so if they're selling the 3080 for $700, you need to sell a 2080 Ti for about $650 just to stay competitive. But if the supply is too high for the demand, then we're looking at people trying to price gouge, and your 3080 is at $1,100 to $1,200. So then your 2080 Ti just went back up to $800 because now they can't get their hands on a 3080, but now they wanted to upgrade their GPU. 2080 Ti sitting at $800. Oh wow, that's a $1,200 graphics card when it was new. That's a good deal, when essentially it's really not. You just gave someone $800 for a graphics card that should be selling for about $600 to $650 because of the performance out of the 3080. But a lot of people get impatient once they make the decision they want to buy something, they want to buy it right then and there. So you're going to see that price point, 3080, go up. When the 3070 comes out at $500, the 3080 should come down in the used market. It probably, depending on what kind of supply we have in the United States, will depend on this. But if you can buy a 3070 for $500, now the used price on the 3080 should come down a little bit. The 3090 I think is still going to be your high ticket item. People that are buying 3090s, they're ready to spend the money, and they will spend the money. But the 3080 will come down a little bit. It shouldn't really be selling on a used market more than, or on eBay as a used market. I say used, but they're still selling them as new. But it shouldn't be selling on eBay more than that $700-800, whatever it is, new. But when the 3070 comes out, you'll see it shrink a little bit. So it'll go back down to its MSRP pricing. But when the 3070 comes out, you're going to be looking at people buying those because they're more on a budget. When the 3080 people, that's the one that they want, willing to spend a little bit more money, but it'll close the gap a little bit, come back to that MSRP pricing, and the 3070 I think will probably be their biggest selling graphics card. So at $500 again, that great price of performance. So it should help in a used market, but when that happens, you'll see the 10 series and 20 series cards. That's when I think you'll see the real price drops and stuff on that. You'll see a huge drop the first week that 3080 comes out, but it's going to level out when the demand can't get met, I think. And if you don't buy it right away, that 10 series card is going to level out and go back up in price a little bit. And then when we see the 3070 card come out, you'll see another drop in the 10 series cards, probably even for longer, because more people are going to jump on that 3070 in my opinion. And you'll be able to scoop up a 1080 or 1080 Ti pretty cheap. So that's just my opinion on what the 3080, 3090, and 3070 have to do with the used gaming PC market and crypto mining market. So if you're looking to build a crypto mining or gaming PC rig, I would shy clear of it right now. Wait for these new cards to come out. Either look to build with the new cards or the 3070 if you're on a tighter budget, or look to get like a 1080 Ti for really cheap. If you watch eBay long enough, I'm sure once these cards are out, you can get one below $300, which is going to be a great price of performance graphics card. Thanks for checking this video out. I know it's a lot of speculation, a lot of thoughts, that of what I think is going to happen in the used graphics card market. I'm not saying that this is exactly how it's going to play out. It's just my thoughts, my opinions on it, my speculations. I like to hear what other people's thoughts are as far as the used graphics card market and what they think is going to happen in the comments below. Just write down what you think is going to happen, or maybe what graphics card you're looking for. Get some interaction to see what some other thoughts as far as how the new graphics cards are going to affect the pricing on the old ones. But thanks for checking this video out. Make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell icon. Check out more videos as I put them out. Thanks.